So here we are in Rijeka, Croatia, December 20th, 2016, just 5 days before Christmas, and we are looking at a sky that is full of chemtrails. I don't know if you can see those. I can point them out to you as we go. A lot of these are old, so a lot of these were laid down over an hour ago, so that those look like clouds, but those are all chemtrails. Like the one that goes here, there's a chemtrail right there, and then there's two that crisscross. It's really a spectacular triumph for the Rothschild family. The House of Rothschild in the city of London, it's a small city-state in the boundaries of London and in the boundaries of England, but it's not controlled by England or by London. It's controlled within itself. It's a power unto itself, the city of London. That's where the Rothschild empire is managed from, the financial empire. And they fund the pedophiles, they fund the wars. They fund all the wars. They make loans to governments. They incite wars, they incite hatred, they incite violence, they incite racial hatred, hatred of the neighbor, hatred of the neighboring state. And they get people to be angry enough at each other to go to war. This is what happened with the Civil War in the United States. People did not fight, would not have fought because of slavery. They would not have gone brother against brother, but the Rothschilds incited that war for the purpose of dividing the nation so that the power of the US would not then overshadow the power of the Rothschilds, based in London, the city of London. So this power, which is 1/3 of the power of the global trinity of control, the other 2/3 are Washington D.C., which is military. City of London is finance, and the other third is the Vatican City, city-state in Italy, which is the religious facet of the Trinity of control. All of it owned and or controlled by the House of Rothschild. So this sky is fully symbolic of the Christmas that the Rothschilds want us to have. What is that Christmas? What is the Merry Christmas? Well, it's merry nanoparticles of aluminum, strontium, and barium. Those are heavy metals. And in the nanoparticle size, these metals get into the brain. Doesn't matter if your blood-brain barrier is formed, which is the barrier that nature creates to keep heavy metals out of the brain. It doesn't matter. All adults have fully formed blood-brain barriers. In fact, after you reach the age of 3 or so, you have a fully formed blood-brain barrier. That means you will not get mercury and other heavy metals into your brain, because nature's smart. But the nanoparticle size of the metals that are being sprayed in these chemtrails allows them to get into your brain. They bypass the blood-brain barrier, and that is a huge problem for the brain. Metals like to stick to fat. There's a lot of fat in the brain. So as soon as they get into the brain, they go, oh, we like it here, and the metals stay in your brain. And then they interfere with speech, and then they interfere with thought in general. And eventually, I mean, they're poisonous to neurons, to neural cells. They kill neural cells. So it is a big problem for humanity. This is not just Rijeka, Croatia, where they're spraying these chemtrails. It's all over the world. People say, oh, they don't spray in Africa. Well, I went to Africa and they did spray. And I have documentation of that, photographic documentation of that. It's all over the world. They're propagating electronic beams, electromagnetic beams through the atmosphere using HAARP, which are antenna array all over the world. The antenna array are not just here and there in various countries, they're everywhere. They're on ships. Most of them are on ships. So if they say we're closing the Alaska HAARP facility down, that doesn't mean anything. First of all, they're lying. They're not closing it down. Second of all, even if they did close that one down and all the famous HARP facilities around the world, they still have all the ship facilities, so it wouldn't matter. They'd still be able to conduct their experiments. They call it research, so that they can get around the law against nations engaging in geoengineering warfare. You're not supposed to engage in weather warfare. That's against the law. Nations have agreed to not do that. So they call HARP projects research. Well, HARP projects are not research. They're weaponized antenna array programs. And so you can see the continuing incredible amount of metals being sprayed. And it's not just metals. There are many different substances in there. No one knows what each chemtrail has in it. There's no way to know that. But chemtrails in general contain more than just metals. Human blood cells, viruses, different substances that people cannot research because they're not allowed to be up in that airspace. In fact, those planes are not allowed to be up in that airspace. No one gave them permission to be up there. All those military jets that are flying are above governments. So the control of those planes is not under the control of any politicians in your country. So the politicians in your country, most of them don't even know that chemtrails are being sprayed. They don't even know that term. They're fully ignorant of this program, and it's a global program. And if you talk to your politicians, even the smart ones like Rand Paul, and you say chemtrails, he just goes, that's like saying purple balloons. He doesn't care. He doesn't know what that means. And so he'll ignore your correspondence. Or he'll just write back and say, thank you for your letter. So these are good men and women in Congress, good men and women in your government will still have no idea that this overarching worldwide control system is spraying poisons on all the populations of the world. Now, it's possible that the people in charge, the Rothschilds and their partners in the financial world, do not want to poison humanity. But what they need to do is have a metallic sky. That's the key. Metallic sky is the phrase for this century and for this Christmas. So metallic sky Christmas is what we have. Nanoparticles of metals are staying up in the sky more easily because they're small. The larger they are, the faster they fall, right? So the smaller the size, the longer they stay in the sky, so that beams can be propagated using their metallic properties, and the more they spread out. So these metals and the human blood cells, the viruses, whatever else they're spraying, are greeting us physically, visually, as a Christmas card or a Christmas present to the earth from the House of Rothschild in the city of London. Now, the people who comprise the family of the House of Rothschild, the dynasty, that started a bit more than 200 years ago, when by fraud they took over the Bank of England. They essentially, well, just if you Google the Napoleon messenger, Napoleon defeat Rothschild. The Rothschilds tried to scrub this from the history books, but the course didn't allow them to do that. But what they did was they had a messenger come back from Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo. The messenger got the news back to the Rothschilds in England 20 hours before anyone else got the news that Napoleon had been defeated. The Rothschilds pretended that they began to do stock market trades that made people think that Napoleon had won the war. So everybody panicked and started, making those similar trades, right? And then when it was discovered that, by the time it was discovered that Napoleon had lost, everyone had made the wrong choices based on the Rothschilds' deceit, their fraudulent activity, their intentional deception. And then the Rothschilds just cleaned up on the stock market. And that's the historical fact that the House of Rothschild in court, in modern day, tried to scrub from history. They said, we didn't do that. And the court said, yeah, you did. Have a nice day. So the people can fight back. Okay? People can fight back against this. The question is, what is our best move at on any day? What's our best move today? Well, if you're just sitting at home on Facebook, maybe your best move, and you don't have any resources, maybe your best move is to post this video. Maybe your best move is to do some research on chemtrails and then find the best video you can. What in the world are they spraying is a great documentary. Why in the world are they spraying is a great documentary. And post those. The more educated the populace is, the more chance we have of getting these bankers in prison where they belong. The bankers have a psychological advantage because they seem to be an elite society. They seem to be part of a society that is above all of us. In fact, they are the lowest scum on the planet. The lowest. There is nothing lower than the Rothschilds, the Rothschild family. Mega criminals, super criminals, super predators. That's a new term in modern day parlance. Super predator. That's what the Rothschilds are. They create wars that kill millions of people. There's nothing more criminal and insane than that. A serial killer is nothing compared to the Rothschilds. They are serial war mongers. They serially create wars. They create war after war after war after war after war after war after war. Therefore, they need to be in prison even though they wear tuxedos at parties. We cannot let their visual image that says to us, oh, they're elegant, distract us from the truth. And the truth is, they must be imprisoned because they are monsters. This is Jock Doubleday reporting from Rijeka, Croatia on a chemtrail day, just 5 days before Christmas. I hope you have a scientific day.